Good morning and welcome to a special edition of Sports Scene. My name is Greg Lafredi in Beijing. Today we are bringing you live coverage of the launch of the official torch relay for the 31st FISU Summer World University Games. Now the flame which has been taken from the Italian city of Turin, where the first such games were held in 1959, and it has been transferred here in Beijing, the first stop of the torch relay. Now authorities say the flame is the flame of youth and dreams. This morning, an opening ceremony will be held in Peking University, and the torch relay will begin on the campus. Now, we'll be bringing you live pictures, as the flame will also travel to the cities of Harbin, Shenzhen, Chongqing, and Yibin, and finally the host city, Chengdu, in southwest China's province of Sichuan. Now, the 31st FISU Summer World University Games will take place between July 28th and August 8th. Joining to discuss these momentous games is Dong Jun from Culture and Sports EI Asia Limited. We'll be talking more about the significance of the games and in particular the substance of today's special, the torch relay. Now we are also joined by our reporter Wang Mengjie in Beijing, and we'll go to her now. Good morning, Mengjie. Now please tell us, what can we expect from today's event?
Good morning there, and the torch relay of the University Games is shortly being held in Beijing on Saturday. As you can see, the scene behind me is the very place where the event will be held, Peking University. And the event will start with an opening ceremony where the flame will be lit. And officials attending the ceremony will also make a public speech address for the event, as well as a torch relay, as I mentioned, will be held afterwards. And the details is a total of 31 torch bearers will run for the relay, and details from it there is they will start from the Peking University Hall to the Weiming Lake and to the monorails of the Martyrs of Peking University, covering a distance of 2.5 kilometers, and will be completed by all 31 torch bearers. I think one of the reasons why the event will be held at a very famous, well-known university is partly showing the passion of the younger generations to the world. At the end of the event, there will be a performance be staged for celebrating. Back to you.
Well, it certainly is an auspicious beginning for the torch relay. Now, Mengjie, of course, the torch will also head to other cities after Beijing before returning to the host city of the University Games, Chengdu. What more can you tell us about this?
Yes, indeed. The relay will run to another 4 cities, including Heilongjiang, the capital city of Harbin, the capital city of Heilongjiang province, Shenzhen in Guangdong province, Chongqing and Yibin in Sichuan, and then back to Chengdu for the games, which will be held from July 28th to August 8th. And Chengdu is also the 3rd Chinese mainland city to hold this kind of biennial university games, following Beijing in 2001 and Shenzhen in 2011. Athletes from universities across the globe will compete for 269 gold medals in all the 18 sports. And Chinese delegation is expected to number over 800 members, including about 500 athletes to compete in all the 18 sports. The slogan for this year's University Games is Chengdu makes the dreams come true. But I think before that, Beijing will make the dream come true firstly, as the torch relay is just around the corner to pass the passion and spirit.
Well, thank you very much. Well done getting us started there. That was Wang Mengjie reporting from outside of Peking University. Now we're back here in the studio where I'd like to begin our discussion with our distinguished guest, Dong Jun from Culture and Sports EI Asia Limited. Now, Dong Jun, great to have you here as always this morning. Now, the official flame was flown from Chengdu to Beijing on Thursday. Now, the torch name is Ronghuo. I'm sure you can pronounce that a lot better than me, and it literally means the Chengdu flame. Now, it's covered with 4 gradient colors, and of course the torch, the symbolism, everything, it's just gravid with a lot of meaning. Can you tell us more about the design and the significance to Chengdu?
Yeah, Greg, it's great to be here again. Let's talk about sports. And before I go to the design of the flame, I'd like to express my excitement about, such a surreal experience that 30 years ago, it was the Universiade, the World University Games, that brought me to the very site of an international competition. I went to Buffalo and Toronto as a co-host for the Buffalo University Games. And the starting point of that torch relay started from New York City, because Buffalo is upper state of New York State.
Absolutely, you're talking about my backyard there.
Right, and also some soccer games were played in your country on the other side of the lake in Toronto. And I went over to Toronto to cover the finals between Chinese women's soccer team and America for the final. But now we don't have soccer anymore at the University Games. There are a lot of changes and reforms. But back to Chengdu, and it's interesting that if without the pandemic, it should be in 2021. And if you look back to the past history of any Chinese city hosting the University Games, 2001 in Beijing, 2011 in Shenzhen, and then it should be 2021 in Chengdu now with 2 years delay. But I think the FISU, still the owner of these games, still prefer to call it 2021 instead of looking at the exact time, but taking it as a brand, as a logo, 2021. It should be in Chengdu. But now in this relay, we have Harbin. We have a couple of other cities. Would that mean that they would be interested or considering bidding for 2030, 32, or 30, 31 or 33? We will see. But back to Chengdu, yes, I believe a lot of people would have expectations in a University Games in Sichuan, because people in the world, especially Chinese cuisine lovers, they may be even more familiar with the word Sichuan, even more than China for some of them. So I think the pressure on the indigenous designers of China would be how to combine the very universal features of the World University Games with the local cultures and features of China, Sichuan, and Chengdu, and how to combine them together. And don't forget that Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan, is just super rich of very unique cultures that belong to themselves. And it's a very tough test. And of course, people in Sichuan would be proudly introduce their Sichuan opera or Chuanju with a lot of masks changing. And then the Chuanju performers would, puff flames in their performance. So I think the designers try to combine what visually people would experience in Sichuan and Chengdu into their designs of the torch, of the flame, and of everything associated with a big event.
Well, you make some really good points there, and one of them, of course, is that this is a games for the whole world. You want to introduce the local culture, but also, as you said, people in the world are very familiar with Sichuan culture, cuisine, so you want to include some of those elements that people are familiar with, yet introduce some of these new ones. So quite the task for the designers. And we're going to move on to also talk more about these games that begin at the end of July, of course, July 28th. And this year's competition, as we've mentioned, is going to be hosted in Chengdu, the capital of southwestern China's Sichuan province. And we're going to go to a package now from Guo Tianqi to learn more about these games.
Panda, bamboo, and the Sanxingdui sunbird are the three elements of the torch of this year's FISU World University Games, and they're also symbols of the host city, Chengdu. The flame of the FISU Games has already arrived in Beijing, the first city in the torch relay. It will then pass through Harbin, Shenzhen, Chongqing, and Yibin before arriving in Chengdu on July 28th, the opening day of the Games. In the competition, more than 10,000 athletes from about 170 countries and regions will compete for 269 gold medals across 18 sports.
Now Chengdu is coming on the map, in the Western world. And after this must enlarge because they have a big potential, I guess, here. And the University Games are speaking about culture especially. And this is a town full of culture. So I think that the event will be very important for the relation between people.
Sustainability is a key principle of the FISU Games. Across 49 competition and training venues, 13 are newly built and 36 have been renovated, spanning a total construction area of 1.2 million square meters. And Chengdu residents will be able to enjoy the high-standard venues before and after games. After witnessing the swimming and gymnastic venues at the Dong'an Lake Sports Park, home to the main sports stadium, visitors said preparations are going well.
I've been to the Beijing Olympics in 2008. If I compare this with the way that Beijing was organized in 2008 and see what it's achieved already here, it's very, very impressive.
It's hoped the high-quality venues and sports-loving atmosphere of the city will create an unforgettable experience for fans and athletes. Just like the slogan, Chengdu makes dream come true. 郭天琪 CGTN.
Now we're going to turn back to our guest Dong Jun to get some more insights about the games and specifically the emblem of the games. Now, authorities have called for high-quality preparations for this Universiade in Chengdu. What aspects do you think this applies? How are we going to see these high-quality things manifested at these games?
Well, I think when it comes to high quality, I think in China, the case for Chengdu is particularly is that maybe more bigger cities like Beijing, Shanghai have already, over the last 20 to 30 years, hosted a number of international caliber events. And Chengdu definitely can draw a lot of experience while trying its best to distinguish itself from the past. But we do at Chengdu University Games, we do have a tremendous experience to learn from inside China already, from the neighbors in Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen, and elsewhere. But I think with this unfortunate delay of 2 years, I think Chengdu is determined to do something with two additional years of preparation to do something even greater than should it have been held on time in 2021. And also, the city of Chengdu over the last few years has developed so fast. I mean, compared with a lot of other cities in China, Chengdu has become an economic and center and also for international transportation. Its airport is state-of-the-art, and local culture and local economic development is very unique, not only about speed, but also about its own features and people's lifestyles. They are trying to demonstrate that the younger people are fully prepared to embrace something very international, like the World University Games, which is the biggest student sporting event on this planet. And also, don't forget, different from the Olympic Games, the Universiade happens once in every 2 years.
Right.
Yeah. And so I think Chengdu is also a big city of a lot of huge campuses, college campuses, university students in great numbers. And I think when the world or the owner of the event, World University Games or Federation, looking at the host city, what it can do, normally it expects the host city to generate, to mobilize local support as much as possible, while obeying or keeping commitment to making everything in good order. But they would expect to see something they cannot imagine beforehand, something far exceeding the previous expectations from the local crowds, from volunteers.
Well, no doubt, as you mentioned too, the excitement has been steeping literally for 2 years, postponed twice because of the pandemic. So now it literally is afoot, and we're getting ready to see the launch of the torch ceremony this morning. I mean, everything is ready to happen. So these people have been working so hard. And you also mentioned too, a very good point, it's a tough act to follow. China is no stranger to putting on multi-sport events. We just had the Winter Olympics here, obviously, but this one is the first since China optimized its COVID-19 response measures. And so we're going to see something different too, obviously, in freedom to travel, people coming in and out. As you mentioned, it is the largest, in terms of numbers, the largest sports event in the world. And this is a massive logistical issue.
Right, and once a city in southwest China is, in both terms of hardware and software, very ready to host the university games, and that opens the door in another few years that it would be possible for it to bid for the Olympic Games.
That's right, Dongjun. Here we go.
第31届世界大学生夏季运动会火炬传递
University
启动
Games
仪式
torch relay
即将
launching
开
ceremony
始。
is about to begin.
趁年轻，拥抱
Since we are
青春
young,
梦
we
想，
embrace the
以热
dreams
爱
of youth.
汇聚
With our
青
passion
年
and
力量
love, we gather the
同
force
学
of all
们，你
youngsters.
们准备好了吗？
Are you ready?
So the opening ceremony of the torch relay for the 31st FISU Chengdu Summer World University Games is underway right now at Peking University in Beijing. This is taking place at the Centennial Memory Hall, which is a multifunctional complex where students can enjoy lectures, theatrical performances, and movies. It is a landmark architecture of fantastic, look at the scenes right there, from this renowned university. Obviously, we're getting to see wonderful images of the city, all incorporated in this performance. There are about 150 people attending this event. As for the program for the opening ceremony, this is the opening number. It involves students from Beijing and Sichuan, as well as overseas students who are singing this wonderful song together. Now, the title of the song is Love is the Same. It's the promotional song for the 31st FISU World University Games, and the lyrics say, "The smile of youth is the name of love." The song demonstrates the wishes that love can touch everyone and make everyone's dream come true.
笑，青春的微笑，是爱的名字，是爱的名字。你和我，You and I，在一起，Forever，世界有我们，世界有我们，青春的样子，青春的样子，是爱的生命。你和我在这里，世界是我们。We are, we are, we are, we are, we are, we are together, baby. We are, we are, we are, we are, we are, we are together, baby.
Joining hands together for our dreams, and with love we light up our hope for future. Thank you, 31 performers. They come from Sichuan University and Peking University, and some are also from the affiliated middle school, primary school of Peking University, and Haidian District Experimental Primary School. And also, we have seen some foreign students studying in China performing just that. Now, let's invite the moderator of this launching ceremony, the Deputy Secretary of CPC Sichuan Provincial Committee and Executive Chairperson of the Organizing Committee of Chengdu World University Game, Mr. Huang Qiang. Distinguished Vice Premier Ding Xuexiang, distinguished officials and guests, college students, good morning. Today, we rally solemnly in Peking University for the 31st Chengdu World University Games torch relay launching ceremony. The torch, bearing the spirits of striving makes dream come true, will be relayed starting from here. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would love to extend our sincere thanks to all of those friends supportive of these games. And to the leaders and guests present here, my warmest welcome goes to you all. The CPC Central Committee and the State Council put high premium on this event. General Secretary Xi Jinping approved this activity plan in person, and Vice Premier Ding Xuexiang makes it for today. That's really encouraging. First of all, please allow me to present you the distinguished VIP guests and leaders. They are the member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau and Vice Premier of the State Council, Mr. Ding Xuexiang. Deputy Secretary General of the State Council, Mr. Meng Yang. Minister of Education and Chairperson of the Organizing Committee of Chengdu World University Game, Mr. Huai Jingpeng. Director General of the General Administration of Sports and President of the Organizing Committee, Mr. Gao Zhidan. Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Ma Zhaoxu. Secretary of the CPC Sichuan Provincial Committee, Mr. Wang Xiaohui. The IOC member and the Chinese Olympic Committee Vice President, Mr. Yu Zaiqing. Representative of International University Sports Federation, Madame Zhao Jing. Party Secretary of Peking University, Chairperson of the Chinese University Sports Federation, Mr. Hao Ping. Today with us, we also have the members of the Organizing Committee of Chengdu World University Games and colleagues from Beijing, Heilongjiang, Guangdong, Sichuan, and Chongqing Municipality, as well as colleagues from Peking University and other higher learning institutions. With us, we also have torchbearers, athletes, volunteers, and media friends. Now let's give a round of big applause to all the present leaders and guests. Now, let's have the launching ceremony for the national flag, the International University Sports Federation's flag to enter the stage. Please all rise up. Now let's sing the national anthem. Now let's sing the song of International University Sports Federation. Please be seated. Now let's invite Minister of Education and President of the Organizing Committee of Chengdu World University Game, Mr. Huai Jingpeng. The esteemed Vice Premier Ding Xuexiang, distinguished guests, faculties, good morning. Today, we are coming together in Peking University to solemnly launch the ceremony for the 31st Chengdu World University Games Torch Relay. First of all, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would love to extend our warmest welcome and sincere thanks to all the present guests and friends. The World University Game is not only a sports gala for the world youngsters, but also an important platform for cultural exchange. Chengdu World University Game is the first large-scale, comprehensive sports competition ever since the wrap-up of the 20th National Congress. It's also the first major international competition since the pandemic has been listed as Category B infectious disease. It's also a gathering of youngsters on the occasion of the 10th anniversary of the BRI initiative. It offers a great stage for international youngsters to tap into their talents and pursue dreams. General Secretary Xi Jinping pays high attention to the preparation work of these game. He has given important instructions on many occasions, giving us the fundamental reference for the preparation work. Torch Relay is an important official event for the World University Game. It's going to contribute to transmitting the World University Games spirits. The torch relay will initiate the Chengdu World University Game. The torch bearers are running with the confidence of the Chinese nation, and they are igniting the dreams of the international youngsters. Chengdu World University Games torch relay will highlight the group of university students and youngsters to fully demonstrate the new image of Chinese youngsters with confidence, vigor, openness, and hope in this new era. They will fully exhibit the splendid Chinese culture and the unique and mysterious Bashu culture, so that the international university students and people of all walks of life worldwide could have a better understanding of, aspire to, and fall in love with China. Sports carries the dream of national rejuvenation, and youth represents the hope of our national future. Peking University is the center of the New Culture movement and the May 4th movement's birthplace. Starting from here today, the Chengdu World University Games torch relay will connect cities like Beijing, Harbin, Shenzhen, Chongqing, Yibin, and Chengdu, 6 cities included. 800 torch bearers will pass on the flame of youth and dream. On the land of China, they will depict a splendid picture of youth in this new era. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends and students, on July the 28th, Chengdu World University Game will be officially inaugurated. Here, on behalf of the organizing committee, I sincerely welcome the worldwide young athletes to come to China, and I hope that everyone could have your dreams come true in Chengdu and in China. Finally, I wish a complete success to this activity of torch relay. Thank you. Thank you, Minister Huai Jinpeng. Now, let's invite the acting president of International University Sports Federation, Mr. Reynolds, to deliver a remark through the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, this summer, China will be host of thousands of student athletes from around the world who will gather in Chengdu on the 28th of July for the FISU World University Games. This event is not only one of high-level competition, but is also one of friendship and cultural exchange. The flame of the FISU World University Games is a symbol of brightness, unity, friendship and peace. It represents the skills, courage and perseverance of the young student athletes who dare to take on the challenge of high-level sports while completing an academic career. The flame relay will convey the spirit and the atmosphere of the FISU Games through its meaningful symbol of world unity and progress. I would like to sincerely thank the 800 torchbearers participating in this flame relay. These exceptional representatives from universities and other walks of life each serve as a model and benchmark of excellence. They will carry the torch with pride and passion, spreading the idea of striving youth, flying dreams to university students around the globe. Sports serve as a link between people across all culture and is a catalyst for mutual understanding and friendship. The FISU World University Games is not just a platform to showcase the competitive level of young promising athletes, but is also essential for fostering exchanges and integration among youth around the world. Young representatives from many countries and regions will deliver the powerful message of working together to create a brighter future for mankind as torchbearers of the Chengdu 2021 FISU Games. Together they symbolize the powerful force of collaboration for the betterment of our common shared future. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the government and the people of China, and especially to the organizing committee of the Chengdu 2021 FISU Games. Their tireless efforts and hard work over the past 1,000 and plus days and nights, due to the 2 postponements, they had created significant challenges for them. Despite these difficulties, the organizing committee has responded with remarkable efficiency and dedication, ensuring high-quality event preparations. We have every reason to believe that the Chengdu FISU Games will be an exceptional event, marked by the organizers' extraordinary achievements and the attention to detail that they put in. I am thrilled to be able to see the dreams of many student athletes finally come true in Chengdu. And in anticipation of the FISU Games, I wish great success to this magnificent flame relay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Now let's invite the representative of torchbearers, Madam Ding Ning. Distinguished leaders and guests, dear faculties, good morning. The World University Game is not only a competition stage, but also a stage for the youth communication. Torch represents brightness, friendship, hope, and striving spirit. Torchbearers are the ambassadors to convey the FISU Game spirit. Today, this torch relay will start from Peking University. We will convey the spirit of the game to every corner of this world. When the dream of a FISU Game is converging with the China dream, as the Chinese youngsters in the new era, we will extend the course's spirit to outside of the course so that it could be integrated into our daily work and life. We will race to our limits on the course of our life so as to contribute to the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. On behalf of all the torchbearers, we solemnly pledge that we will hold high the flame of Rome City to march forward and convey the spirit of the game to complete our mission. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Ding Ning. Now let's invite Director General of the General Administration of Sport and also President of the Organizing Committee, Mr. Gao Zhidan, to present the badges of the torch relay to the torchbearers. Please take a group photo.
So there we see on the left, of course, Ding Ning, a Chinese table tennis icon who has won the Grand Slam gold at the Tennis World Cup, the Tennis World Championships, and of course in singles, the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. She officially announced her retirement at 31. She's now studying at Peking University, where she's doing a master's degree in physical education.
Of the Kingling.
So now we see the torch actually being ignited. And the relay will officially get underway now that the flame is lit. And
Now
of
let's
course, the
invite
flame
Secretary of CPC Sichuan Provincial Committee, Mr. Wang Xiaohui, to ignite the kindling pot. Thank you, Mr. Wang Xiaohui. Now, let's give a big round of applause to invite member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau and Vice Premier of the State Council, Mr. Ding Xuexiang, to ignite the torches. Let's invite the first torchbearer, Zhou Jingyuan, to take over this torch. Now let's invite Vice Premier Ding Xuexiang to declare the onset of torch relay activity. Now I declare that the 31st Chengdu World University Games torch relay activity starts.
And there you have it. Chinese Vice Premier Ding Xuexiang has just announced that the torch relay is underway. The first torchbearer is Zhou Jingyuan, a Chinese gymnastics legend who's coming off winning gold on the parallel bars of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Now there are 30 torchbearers for this initial leg here at Peking University. The initial route will cover an area of about 2.5 kilometers. Each torchbearer will carry the torch for about 80 meters and then hand it off to the next bearer. Now a bit more about the torch itself. The nickname Ronghuo, and it implies integration and inclusiveness in Chinese. The front of the torch features the globally recognized giant panda. Native habitat, of course, is in Sichuan province. No games in China would be complete without some panda symbolism, of course. The mesh near the top takes the shape of bamboo leaves, which also serve to complement the panda design. Now, the top of the torch is the Chengdu city's logo, the golden sunburn. This design makes the divine bird soar through the flames in an unwavering pursuit of the light. And the torch's silhouette resembles the bronze standing figure from the Sanxingdui site and pays homage to the ancient Shu civilization, which arose in Sichuan some 3,600 to 3,100 years ago. All these elements obviously blended in fantastic harmony within the torches themselves, as we see the bearers now handing off to each other. So the first torchbearer, we had Zhou Jingyuan, then we had Yang Ling, Well, there we have it. The torch relay is officially underway, so let's go back to Peking University where our reporter Wang Mengjie is standing by. Mengjie, thank you to join us again. Now the games being set for July 28th to August 8th. What else do we know about the games?
Yes, indeed, we can tell from the live that the torch relay is just on the way. But I think speaking of the university games, Chengdu has become one of the hot topics during these days. In the city, 49 venues for the games were put into use in 2021, and 20,000 volunteers have entered the training sessions. Over 1.3 million people have registered for the urban volunteer services. And there will also be thousands of volunteer service spots around the venues and the transportation hubs and commercial areas to offer comprehensive volunteer services. And from the transportation to security, from the broadcasting to medical services, I think there are a wide range of new technologies, including 5G, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence, are employed to create a better and smart games. And Chengdu Universiade village, which located on the campus of the Chengdu University, can accommodate approximately 11,000 people. Equipped with a state-of-the-art facilities, it offers top-notch services in commerce, in the cultural exchanges, in fitness, and so on. And I think known as the hometown of giant pandas, Chengdu is set to impress the world once again. But this time, the spotlight isn't shed on the adorable animals, but also on the world-class sporting event. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Mengjie. Now, Dongjun, I'd like to turn back to you for a few more questions about the games. And top of the list really is the real significance of this event. Obviously, the games provide a platform for student athletes to compete against each other, but it also provides an opportunity for them to meet, make friends, make lifelong attachments that could have some major ramifications for their life. Tell us a bit more about the significance of the games and how important it is to the development of young people.
Yeah, if you allow me, I'd like to share my whole experience over the last 30 years. Back in 1993, a delegation from China representing China to participate first ever in the University Games in Buffalo, New York, surprised the entire world, or at least the games, by finishing second only to the United States in terms of total gold medals won. I think it was 17 gold medals. But a difference is, as early as the early 1990s, university games and university sports were much less developed in China. So you wouldn't be surprised that by looking at the name list on the Chinese delegation, there are a lot of, the top national athletes representing the country instead of not necessarily a university student. But over the years, and China didn't spare any efforts trying to put the sports back on campus and try to solicit elite representatives from among the students instead of drawing from the centralized national teams. So now we can probably say 100% of the Chinese representatives are students. They may have received some very systematic training before they got enrolled in the college, but now they are pure students. And once all the athletes from China and from around the world get together to compete together, it's a gathering. It's a pure interaction among students, among young people, instead of that scenario that some amateur students versus professional athletes is no longer the case. I'm not sure about every country, but I think once you have the flexibility and tolerance to allow some new coming countries to have a mixed lineup of your athletes, and then allow them more time to realize how important it is to mobilize the real target audience and also participants, and then the progress will be seen. Yeah.
Well, you make a really good point there, obviously. I mean, in the past, perhaps it's almost too easy to stock it with ringers, but now, as you say, it's really focused on the students themselves. But the students, as we saw from, for example, Ding Ning, the representative of the torchbearers,
She is a
she's
student.
exactly,
Yeah.
she's a retired athlete. Other students will be future champions who may be doing this. These are high-level people who, many of them are studying both. You look at Eileen Gu, who's a student at Stanford
Right.
University, at the same time pursuing her athletic career and lighting up the world everywhere she goes. So some of these students are exceptional people. These are the leaders of tomorrow, not just in athletic fields, but also in other areas.
Absolutely,
and for a
absolutely.
chance for them to get together on this platform is just so valuable.
And also, by witnessing the university games and China's participation, you can go back to the history of China's education development. Back in the 1980s and early 1990s, there were not many students on campus in China yet. And how would you expect them to be very developed in athletics and all those sports that were so unknown to them? But now, by developing the university games, by encouraging their participation, and now you have a much better developed, much strongly developed athletic training or physical education training. Back then it was called sports. In China, it's highly centrally managed, administered by the sports ministry or a state administration of sports. And now the governing body of China, of all the university games and university students, are back to the Ministry of Education. And the program is now back called physical education. Instead of sports, which include professional sports, now they are student sports.
Well, it's really gone full circle in that sense, and it's quite incredible, really. Now, turning away from the sports, obviously, it's an opportunity for so many international students and even many students in China that have never been to Chengdu before to experience and enjoy Sichuan culture. One of the big ones, Sichuan cuisine, of course. So what do you think, what kind of a treat will these student athletes be in for? How well are they going to be taken care of at these games?
I think those international students, especially from the relatively more developed world, like North America or Europe, might be to some extent already familiar with what they expected Sichuan cuisine to be like. But now they have the opportunity to have a taste of the most authentic taste in Sichuan. But I don't think Chengdu or Sichuan would only limit their own indigenous cuisine to host the entire world. I mean, athletes from elsewhere, but I think Sichuan will try to gather a large variety of different foods from around China, but with Sichuan as the most attractive and shining one. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sichuan wants to create something more moderate, easier for them to accept. You may argue that they are no longer authentic food, but you have to face reality. You are trying to get people from different tastes or habits of different foods together, allow them to have some days or maybe 12 to 14 days to get used to it. And then starting from the relatively internationalized style, and then allow them to try the more authentic, maybe harder to get used to.
I think the word you're dodging around is spicy. Hot. I've certainly been to Sichuan province a few times and enjoyed the Chongqing hot pot in particular, and you pay for it. I mean, it is burning your mouth. It is fantastic and delicious, but it is an experience in itself. So things like these are something that is an opportunity for students to enjoy, and also one that they have to maybe ease into, and at the same time, they're competing.
Greg, can you tell the slight difference between food in Chongqing and Chengdu?
Chengdu I've never actually been to, so I'm not sure my local experience
Compared
in Chongqing.
with Chongqing's food, Chengdu is more moderate.
Okay, well my experience in
Easier to
Chongqing
get used
was
to.
a hot pot where the surface was literally 2 inches of peppers, and you're just dipping meat into there basically, and the mahjong taste, so you really burn your mouth and numb it at the same time.
I think it's even more interesting for the visitors to try to understand how come people in this area of the country would love to, have something spicy or hot, and then you associate with the taste with the environment in that part of the country and the climate and the seasonal, weather, and get to know, okay, every type of food or style originates from a certain ecosystem or environment conditions.
Well, clearly we could talk about food for a while. You're already making me hungry. I'd like to turn back to sports for a second, too. How important are sports to a person's development? Obviously, you're a university student. Your main goal is to study to get your degree, to focus on your education, yet at the same time you have opportunity to shine on competitive stage. We've talked about this before. The NCAA program in America offers student athletes a chance, but a lot of times they don't really get an education. I know the University Games, World University Games, has a far more focus on education. Do you think sports at all detracts from a student's education, and how valuable is just partaking in sports to a person's development?
Greg, very honestly, I think even before China's opening up policy in the late 1970s, even before that, for several decades, the Chinese leadership never let sports to slip lower among the priorities to educate young people, or even place good health or good physical health above everything else. I think that's very important. I think scoring well in physical education has been an essential part of evaluating a student once he or she graduates from school. And I'll take my own university at Tsinghua, for example, and there is a slogan called, "Without sports, you are not a genuine Tsinghua student." You have to do sports well in physical education. I think it's not about how many medals you can win for your class, for your university, or for your college. It's about the spirit of trying to do better. I think it helps you to sharpen your mind when you do something else other than sports. And if you look at those retired athletes, once they go on to turn their life into business, into management, into some other professions, they can also learn very fast. They can also excel because of their spirit of competing, of trying to achieve a better self. And that's a kind of, element that you don't necessarily can get from other subjects other than sports.
Well, Dongjun, that is a fantastic way to end it. Thank you very much for joining us and helping us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you everybody out there for joining us on our special coverage of the torch relay ceremony for the 31st edition of the FISU Chengdu World University Games. I'm Greg Lafredi. Thanks again for watching.